If you are a new Raid Shadow Legends player or have a few days of experience, these are some things you need to keep in mind and some mistakes not to be repeating like I did myself. Hello, my name is Midway and welcome to a new Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to be going over some of the things that I would have liked to know when I first started playing the game, some mistakes that I did that I cannot recover from anymore, and some things that if you start doing from day one, you'll be a lot better off than I was. So let's get into it just as we kill this dragon. The first and most obvious mistake that I'm sure you might have heard about something already is to use a promo code. Now there is a lot of promo codes in the game. Some of them will give you free starting champions, some of which are going to be very powerful, some more powerful than others. So what happens? Well, if you do not use your promo code early on, and that is going to be between the first, I think it's 24 hours of playing the game or before hitting level 15, well, you are going to be missing out on potentially getting some very good free legendaries even, right? And that is also going to be coming with other types of rewards, which will be very handy, like some items that you might be using for leveling up your gear or even some free gear. It all depends on the promo codes. Now there is sites where you can find out what promo codes do what, so really go ahead and check some of those out. I got videos on those as well, and you might as well use my promo code if I already got one by this time, which at the point of recording the video I don't. But all in all, basically that's going to be giving you a massive head start. It's going to be making your life a lot easier in arena, in just straight up in the whole content of the game. There is also certain of these champions that are better than others, and that's why I really recommend you to go ahead and check out a little bit of the rankings. You might easily just go ahead through the arena teams and see that a lot of these people are going to be running some of the same kind of legendaries. For example, you're going to be seeing Supreme Gaelic or Sun King Wukong in a lot of these teams. Of course, you'll also see Alice, but that's because she's a free champion. And basically, I'm just advising you to go for either Sun King Wukong or Gaelic. Those are some champions that you can actually get from promo codes. And if you do so and go ahead and get them, you will be a lot better off than I am right now because, well, basically, I didn't know this and I started playing the game. And by the time that I wanted to go ahead and actually get the promo code used, well, it was a little bit too late for me. I could never at this point actually get that code redeemed. The second thing that I want to be talking about is your starting champion. Now, it's very important to actually choose wisely. I had no idea what any of the champions did when I first started, so I just went ahead and picked up Elhain. Now, Elhain is not terrible. She's actually pretty good, and I maxed her out, and she is my campaign farmer, who I'm basically using to level up my other characters and just farm up stuff. But there is better champions out there. Basically, your best choice over here, if I am looking at it correctly, should be to go for Kayle, right? I think Kayle is one of the dark... Yeah, there you go. Kayle is going to be your best campaign farmer. It's by far the best starting champion. There's multiple reasons for that. He basically has extremely powerful AoE hit that's just going to be able to be done repeatedly because the turn meter here is going to be filled up by 25% every time he kills an enemy, and he also has an increased chance of doing a critical hit. Basically, he's going to be pretty much one-shotting everything, easily clearing stages as you are farming stuff out, which you will eventually get to once you do know enough of the game. But if you gotta choose a character for your starter, go ahead and do so and choose Kayle. You're just gonna be a lot more grateful than choosing anything else. As soon as you learn a little bit about the game, Kayle will definitely look a lot better once you do know what he does compared to the other characters you can potentially choose starting the game. Something else that I did when I first started playing and that I really regret at this point is wasting my resources. I knew little, very little in fact about this game, and what I did is I just got this guy, which I'm gonna be getting back to my collection so we can look at him, which is the Crusader. I literally spent my chickens that I got from the, like, I think it's the free battle pass at the beginning of the game. I spent a lot of this stuff, yeah, some of these chickens and more of the stuff that I got, yeah, there you go, a lot of this, and a lot of my resources that I got early game simply for free. I spent them on him, and he's not, actually he's not great, straight up, just telling it. He might be good in some particular scenarios in the game, but overall he is not even rare. He's simply uncommon, and his kit is also not that great. He only has 2 attacks, one of which is just a single attack, doesn't do anything else, and the other one is that you're gonna be getting an ally to join you together for an extra attack, right? So all in all, he is pretty terrible compared to many other things that you can level up, especially early on in the game, and this uncommon character in particular doesn't seem to really have any application late game. So yeah, I just wasted my resources on him. I wasted a lot of my leveling up items, which you might see down here. You know, the brews they give a lot of XP, and I used a lot of those early game on him, as well as just my chickens. So definitely that was a terrible mistake. If you want to be leveling up something up early on, that should be your starting champion. If you go for Kale, go ahead and max out Kale as soon as possible, and once you start getting some decent champions, some legendaries or some epics and some stuff like that, definitely go ahead and start leveling those out if they are good, and obviously go ahead and check out as well if they are good or not, because you might also get some rares, which are of course the blue characters, which could be potentially good, but most of them are going to be pretty bad. So I would really advise you to go ahead and look up somewhere, especially hellhades.com, whether that character is decent or not. One thing that is also extremely important, especially as a new player, is going to save you up a lot of time, is to be mindful, as I already mentioned before, of your brews. But there is one particular brew that I don't have any more of right now because I already used it, but this brew in particular is going to be leveling up your character to max level, no matter what the max level is for that character. So as you can see, this character is fully started up, and that means that she can go all the way up to level 60, right? So what I did is, knowing that that brew was going to be doing exactly this, because, well, I was just about to use it once, and then I thought about it a couple times, and then I thought, okay, maybe actually what it does is to, well, I just read through the item basically, and it's gonna be leveling up your character to max level, right? So if you get this one, I'm not sure if I got it from the battle pass as well, or if I got it in another form of event, but really, save it up, be very mindful of it. You do not want to be wasting around your items, you do not want to be wasting around, especially this brew, because it could save up so many hours of gameplay, basically leveling up a character to max level, as well as also a lot of energy, because you're going to be investing a lot of that into leveling up that character, and it might all be for nothing. On that same note, another thing that I do believe it's particularly important is to plan out what you want to be doing in the next coming days in the game. There is some things in particular which will only be open in the game for a couple days or at a specific time of the week, and in particular I'm talking about the dungeons. I'm sure there's many other forms of content in the game like that, but we are only going to be pointing out dungeons right now. So you might initially not really think too much about them, but as you are getting a couple hours into the game, a couple days into it, and you're starting to already assemble a specific team you want to be going for, or you somehow just suddenly get a very good champion and you really want to be putting your effort into leveling it up because you really wanted to get that one, or it just really suits your comp, whatever the case may be, you will hate finding that the dungeon you want to be doing is not open that day. Now you can always just go ahead and spend out 200 gems, and I'll show you right now after we defeat this guy. You can just go ahead into the map over here and choose one of the ones that are locked. As you can see, open this Sunday, open this Saturday, and also just spend 200 gems to unlock it for 24 hours, so you can just keep farming it. Now, if you're not going to be wailing it out and you are rather a free-to-play player, or you just want to be playing smartly and saving up your resources, be mindful of that, right? Be mindful of what you're doing. If you have a champion that you are looking to potentially upgrade, think about it, because right now I am really lacking, for example, some superior spirit potions. And if I really want to be doing that and getting those, now is the time to go ahead and farm this content, right? Same thing's going to happen once, I don't know, something like the Void Keep opens. I'm going to be thinking about going for that. I'm going to be thinking about not being stuck in my progression because some of the content that I need to be doing in order to keep upgrading my champions is not available. That really sucks, and I've been there for a couple days in a row, and it's really boring and it puts you off a lot. So be mindful of that. On a similar note to the resource wasting, you do not want to be using stuff on champions that you do not really care about, and that also goes, of course, for what we talked about, ascending champions, using those very hard to come by, the potions over here, in order to level up your champions. You do not want to be wasting those on champions that you don't think they're going to be good, like for example the Crusader. That really goes together with the tier of the champion, so a legendary champion is going to require a lot higher cost potions, but it kind of also applies to other stuff like I'm going to be pointing out here, which is the gear. Now, applying or equipping gear in this game has a detrimental effect, that it's that when you are going to be trying to unequip it or remove it, you're going to be having to pay a big fee. And this is depending on the tier of the gear. So for example, if I'm trying to remove an epic tier gear here, piece here, it's going to be costing me 50,000. If I'm trying to remove something that's a little bit lower tier, for example, I don't know, a level 12 chest, this one's going to also be costing, I think it's like 50,000. There we go. If it's a little bit lower, I think it's based on the amount of stars, actually, as you can see. 5 stars is going to be costing 50,000. 6 stars, it's going to be costing a lot more. Legendary also think takes a part in that. As you can see, this one is 6 stars, so it's fully based off of the amount of stars. And if you are equipping some of the starter gear you're being given, or you for some chance go ahead and buy one of the packs that you might be able to find in the shop, there is some of these limited time offers where you are able to buy a full set, right? You buy a full set and you might think, oh, I really want to just put this on somebody. Well, what happens if you do so and put it on somebody who's not really that great, or you just like put it on some random champion that you have that is really good at that point, but you then get something that's better, or the stats that you gave to that character, the gear and the stats that it has is not the ones that really suit him? Well, that what's going to happen is you're going to be having to pay a massive fee to get that gear off of that champion. So you really want to be mindful of that, because removing 6 individual pieces of gear from that champion is going to be costing you a lot of silver, and so applies as well for the accessories. So picture that you could almost spend $1 million simply by removing the gear from one character and put it onto the other. Now, this whole system has an idea in mind, and that is that you do not want to be moving around sets of gear between characters, so that you have like a set of gear on each character, you develop it, you build it up, and then you keep it on that character. Otherwise, you would only get like one set of every particular combinations. As you can see here, you have all the different sets, and then you would just get one of each one of these and max it out, and then you would just put it on your best champions and move it around when you're switching comps. That really sucks, and I get why they did this, but of course, yeah, be mindful. You might not want to be paying an insane amount of silver simply because you didn't really think about the consequences before getting into it. And finally, but not least, one of the greatest mistakes that I've did when I first started playing this game, if all the things that I talked about wasn't already huge, is not focusing on doing the missions early on in the game. So there is this system in the game which is basically under my camera, but it's right next to the quests icon down here. You're gonna have the missions panel rather, and you're gonna be going through a lot of these early on in the game, but if you don't really look at them too much, you might find yourself out going back through them and doing a lot of the early game content, right? So a lot of these missions early game, as you can see, there's like 4 parts to them. The first 1 to 76 missions are extremely easy to do, but you are going to be required to go back and do content and spend money that you might as well do so at the time that doing that content is relevant, because if you go ahead and not do that content at that point, you will then have to go back and spend energy and money doing things that you would otherwise be doing normally. I'm talking clearing stage missions, leveling up artifacts, I'm talking doing some dungeons, I'm talking spending energy and money in general. Really, that's what it comes down to. So if you do those once they are relevant to the type of content you are going through regularly, because you're just progressing through the game, you will find yourself a much more natural progression curve. It's also going to be giving you resources that are going to be pretty valuable. As you can see, you got a lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of gear through this. You just kind of are supposed to follow along as you level up and do these things. For example, right now, I'm kind of stuck on this one where I need to be unlocking some champion masteries. And I'm at the point where I should be going and farming a lot of this stuff. I should be going to the dungeons and focusing on doing those. I should be going to the labyrinth and doing that stuff, right? Because I'm looking to get my champion stronger, to get deeper into the game. And one avenue where I haven't really put that much time into is the labyrinth. So in this case, it's all fine, it's good, it's where I'm supposed to be, right? So that's what you want to be avoiding, having to go back and farming, I don't know, whatever, Ice Peak Golem down from a lower level and just farming stage 5, I don't know, 10 times. You might as well do stage 5 once it's relevant to you. Same thing goes for a lot of campaign clearing levels before, as well, especially spending a lot of money leveling up pieces of gear to tier 12. That is really costly, and it doesn't really add too much value at the point you are doing that, if you're doing it at the point where I'm at, where it's a lot deeper into the game. So all in all, I wish I knew all this information before I started playing the game myself, but there is other stuff that I could talk about, but the video would go on forever, and I might as well also mention, like, you could also really think about doing stuff like what I'm doing right here. Take advantage of events that are going on, which are going to be boosting the drop chance of particular type of loot in a certain dungeon, right? Of course, all of this has to do with spending your energy and stuff in certain points of the game, but there is a very big amount of min-maxing things that you can do in this game that all just come down to doing a little bit of research research, and if you were able to know that before that time came, you would be a lot better off, right? Just like I am. So hopefully you enjoyed that video. Let me know what you think about all those tips down there. Let me know if you made any of those mistakes, and if you stayed all the way up to this point in the game, let me tell you some stuff about Aptoide, right? If you haven't yet used Aptoide, you should definitely be doing so. If you're playing Raid Shadow Legends on your phone or on an emulator on your PC, you should definitely be downloading Aptoide and then downloading Raid Shadow Legends on Aptoide. And what's gonna happen if you do so is that when you spend any amount of money in the Raid, you're gonna be able to get a cashback from that, right? So you're gonna be getting a bonus that can go from extra 10% of any money you're spending all the way up to extra 35% of that money. And that all goes back into the Aptoide wallet, which is gonna be storing those bonuses for you. And then in turn, once you do have enough of a bonus, you can make a purchase with the bonus instead of actually using your real money. So there is no catch whatsoever here. It's just straight up you're getting a little bit of a cashback, right? Aptoide benefits out of these transactions as well, but you do benefit from just getting more value for your money. Straight up, you're not paying extra, you're simply getting a cashback, you're simply getting a bonus. And once you do have enough again, you do use that instead of your actual money to make the purchases. You just get more value for your money. So there's gonna be a guide down the description about how to set the whole thing up, how to install Aptoide, how to download Raid Shadow Legends through Aptoide, as well as how to install the Aptoide wallet. And then if you go ahead and use my code, you're going to be getting a bonus on that bonus that I talked about, a flat increase on the bonus of 5% from the get-go, which can take you all the way up to a 10% as a bonus for a starting point, right? So all in all, there's also going to be events and such like there is going on. You're going to be getting even a 5 all the way up to extra 10% bonus for a limited time once you're buying stuff through Aptoide on Raid Shadow Legends. So if you do so, you could stack up. I think right now you can even go all the way up to an extra 45% bonus, if I'm not mistaken. But definitely go ahead, check it out. Let me know what you think about it. All links under the description. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. See you.